ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Based Edge podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Joe Emilio, and I'm always joined by
Mark Rock. Hello.
the other host of the show, ladies and gentlemen. So we've had some interesting shows thus far, Mork, and we were struggling to come up with a topic for this episode, but I think we got a good one. For those of you who might be tuning in for the first time, whether you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, or if you're watching YouTube for the first time with us, don't forget there's like episode 1, 2, 3, and 4. You got to go check out those episodes. Are very interesting, especially the last one where we spoke to an OnlyFans model, or Fansly model, actually. That was a very interesting conversation. And now, before I forget, also, if you're listening in on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please jump over to YouTube, give us a bit of a subscribe. You can see visually the prettiness that we've got going on. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can also subscribe or hop on over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and listen to us while you're on your way to work, at work, or on your way back from work. Maybe when you're doing sexy time with your wife. I don't know, just whatever tickles your fancy.
What? Imagine doing that, eh? It's like having... Yeah, man. Okay, thrust.
No.
Tell her she's sexy.
I really hope
if I can apply for it's like the phone sexy time stuff.
Here's the thing.
Are women into that, or is it just a men thing? It's just men phone women and then go like, "Hey, talk to me dirty." It's like an old lady sitting somewhere. It's like, she's lonely. I don't mind. Phone me. I don't know how it works. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should give it. Think about that. Maybe an option.
I don't know why I went there. All I know is the last conversation scarred me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. With what we learned that episode, anything's possible. There really could be someone listening to us right now when they're doing something naughty. So I don't know anymore, man. I can't trust the male species. I can't. After what I learned in the last episode. Anyway. Coming to this episode, ladies and gents, it's going to be an interesting one. For those of you who may not know, let's start from here. Zimbabwe has entered the Miss Universe, I think it's called the pageant, for the first time in 22 years. So the last time they were part of this Miss Universe thing was 22 years ago. And some outrage has sparked over the winner of Miss Zimbabwe. Obviously, for the Miss Universe, they take a winner from every country that's participating. Zimbabwe entered this year. Zimbabwe's winner, ladies and gentlemen, is white. Brooke Jackson. I think that's how you say it. Brooke Jackson. I don't know.
No, I have no idea. That's a weird. I've never seen it. It sounds German. Brooke Jackson. Wow. Shame. I feel sorry. Why did her parents do that?
Wins pageant, sparks fierce debate because she's white. So before Mork, you start, firing at all
questioning you,
yeah. Let's give some context here, or some information, really. So why are people upset? Well, because she's white. That's really the main thing here.
So basically what you're saying is racists are upset.
I said, hold your horses on the firing at all cylinders. You can't contain yourself, can you? Because I want to bring these comments to your attention more, because I know you're gonna love these comments. You're gonna eat these comments up. So, like, for example, one person said, extremely tragic and disappointing that this woman has won. And just to also let you know, African ethnic groups account for 98% of Zimbabwe's population, which stands at over 15 million as of 2023. The largest group is the Shona, followed by the Ndebele, Only about 2% of the population is of non-African ethnic origin. And these are what some people are saying as well. All those beautiful melanated... and you telling me the European woman won a contest for black people. Another raged, the third... Imagine crowning a white person Miss Zimbabwe. That means there is no black woman in Zimbabwe who is up to her standard. What manner of white worship is this? So disappointing to see these colonizers representing an African country. Okay, my ancestors are rolling in their graves.
Yeah, those are angry, eh?
That's the controversy, all right? So the controversy is that because a country that has entered for the first time in 22 years the Miss Universe pageant has selected a white person or a white woman to represent that country, a country that is predominantly black.
I mean, so it's a pageant on beauty.
Yeah.
So what are the, like, if we had to go look at it, what are they judged on? Like, first off, I want to know, like, because I mean, again, beauty is almost like hate speech. It's subjective. So, like, who are the judges, and what are they judging the person on? Maybe this person has got a nice character. Maybe she's, compared to all the other girls, they were mean and nasty girls. We don't know. In the year 2023, race shouldn't be a qualifier. Race shouldn't be even come into question. We shouldn't go, okay, this girl's pretty because she's a specific race. So, yeah, it's just a weird thing that people are upset. It feels like people who are racist are upset because, you know, someone's race mattering is the kind of thing that racists worry about. But again, the pendulum swings to the extreme, and it's like, well, you know, non-racist people are going, well, race matters. But you're making the exact same argument that racist people are making. You know, I'm not saying you, I'm saying the people who are upset about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, the country's got what majority, 98% is black. But I mean, should that come into question then? Because then you're going to make a judgment call on whether this person is black. And also, like that one comment said, what is it? A contest for black people. A beauty pageant in Zimbabwe is not a contest for a specific race, but then eliminate any other races from joining, because race shouldn't matter. Isn't that what the sort of the society we're striving for there? It doesn't matter. Like, I don't understand it. It's like, it's either one of the two. Like, either race doesn't matter or it does.
Well, let me answer one of your questions, because you were asking, you know, who are the judges, or how does this person win? What do they look at? I unfortunately do not know what the judges look for, but I do know who they were. So according to the Herald, the winner of the contest was decided by 7 judges. And these are the 7 judges, 6 of whom are black.
Okay.
I know this doesn't answer your full question of like, okay, but what do they look like? Or what do they look for? But I imagine it's like, I don't know, like it's probably the way they walk, the way they look, how they carry themselves, well-spoken or not.
Does she have a nice personality?
Yeah,
does she have a nice character? Is she friendly? Maybe this happened to be that the other contestants weren't as nice as she was. I'm sure that the fact that this happens mean that the judges, who were black, the majority of them, were not judging her based on her race. This is how you want it to be. I don't understand. This is a society we're striving for. And I was like, well, it's not cool because we want it to be representative, you know, by race, which is just weird because that's by definition a racist, you know, position. I don't get it. I really don't understand. I mean, was there maybe she paid them off?
Oh, maybe. But allegedly, we're not insinuating that at all. We're just kidding. We're just kidding. How dare you! So this might help you as well. During the evening gown competition, judges are looking for a contestant who is regal and elegant. The contestant walk is just as important as her choice of gown. Judges score each contestant on how graceful, poised, and composed she appears. And this is just for the gown competition. So obviously there's different kinds of so for example, there's also like a swimsuit thing. I don't know if they still do that. But they will wear different things and they will be asked certain questions and they get judged on almost all of that. So being judged really on appearance and personality. That's basically how you win. What is also interesting, before I get into that, I want to also let people know what my opinion is. All right.
Yes.
And my opinion is, as I told you earlier, my knee-jerk reaction, my first reaction was I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how does a white person win in Zimbabwe? It must be a troll. Like, it's got to be a troll. Yeah. And I didn't pay it any attention. But then started seeing this thing was trending. And it turns out to be real. I did a bit of like research. I was like, oh, come on. It's white. Okay, let's see. And then my knee-jerk reaction to that was like, but shouldn't it be a black person? Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but it kind of makes you wonder, like, how ugly were the other contestants? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just wondering. I'm not saying, and by the way, I don't think they were ugly. Like, I don't. I really don't. I mean, I'm seeing. So here we go.
I mean,
all right, the first row. There's some. I mean, this one.
Yeah, the chick on the
Audrey, I think, is quite beautiful.
Ally Fine Eye, I think she's cute. Audrey is cute too. Not so sure about Ayanda.
Ayanda is white, dude. Like, let's just be.
Ayanda looks like she's white. She probably shouldn't join.
And then there's Brooke. Okay, so these are all the contestants that were part of the thing, right?
Oh, but you know what it is. Let me give you like, if I look at Brooke, you know what she looks like? What's that chick that played in? She looks like a famous actress. What's that chick that played in the chess series on Netflix? The Queen's Gambit. She looks like the chick from the Queen's Gambit.
I don't know who you're talking about, but like, I'll be fair. Like, Chelsea also looks quite decent. I think Haley also looks pretty. Kelsey looks like a boss bitch. I'm sorry. It's just, I can't. There's no. And then there's a contestant called Life. Sorry. Nicole.
Oh, we're gonna get cancelled for judging people based on their appearance.
No, I'm not judging.
No, wait, hold on. No, but hold on. It's like literally they've entered a competition where they get judged on their appearance.
Yeah, so if people want to cancel us,
somehow we're going to get cancelled because we're judging.
We're not the judges. Contest. We're not the judges.
Yeah, but I mean, we can have opinion on whether somebody's pretty or not. I mean, that's just how human nature works. Like,
I can tell you now, Zara lost because of her profile pic. I'm just saying. It's like, I don't know what she's trying to do there.
Looks like she's in between transitions there. It's like she's in the spirit realm or something.
Tariro isn't bad. I mean, she looks pretty. Look, they're all pretty. They're all pretty.
They're pretty cool.
I'm just saying, like, the ones that I think are like, okay, should have maybe could have that are prettier than Brooke. All right, like, I don't find Brooke.
I don't think she's the prettiest. No, I would go like, I think there's a one or two or three other girls that are much prettier than Brooke. I'm just like. But it's like it's a combination of a bunch of stuff. You know, we're just going based on looks. Like, there's the whole vibe of elegance, character, personality, how she talks, is she friendly? You know, they ask them those weird questions like, "What would you do? You know, if you could save the world." Yeah, like, what do you dream of? World peace and, like, you know, saving the climate and being carbon neutral.
Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa.
So maybe she said the right words. Maybe she walked the right thing. But again, like, if you bring up that thing that you said earlier, like the thing that the judges are looking at, you're going to have people, especially the intersectional crowd, saying things like, these concepts are colonialist concepts. You know, being elegant, being, you know, these are, you know, what's the word? What's the
colonialist construct or whatever? I do want to also show the runner-ups. So the runner-up was two, like the second and third place. So I don't know which one got second. I don't know which one got third. But Amanda, so she's the one in the second one there.
What?
Okay, so the top three were Amanda, Brooke,
Yeah.
okay, and then I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce this name, and I'm going to try my best. Nokutenda. Now again, maybe they answered something. Maybe they look good in bikinis. Maybe they look good in their gown.
Yeah.
Maybe they walk right. I don't know.
Exactly.
But clearly, there was black people or black women in this pageant, or whatever. So again, going back to my knee-jerk reaction was like, it should have been. I did say in my mind it should have been a black person to win. I mean, Zimbabwe majority is black. You would think a black person would win that. And I gotta admit, after doing a bit of research, and I thought to myself, but again, if she won this legitimately, then good for her, right? Great. I mean, to your point about the whole wokies who will go, this is a colonialist structure, whatever. A lot of them would say stuff like, but she's from her descendants, like her ancestors are from Europe. So she has no claim to this. She's not a Zimbabwean, like those, the real racists will say that. Like, but I'm not looking at it like that. I was just shocked that she was white. Because I'm not the only one who has that kind of like shock, because like I have friends who live in America, and when they know that my wife is white, they're shocked. They're like, "There's white people in South Africa." Like it's just a thing, okay? Doesn't mean they're racist. They just assume that everybody's black.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Yeah, of course.
And I had kind of the same kind of like reaction, only more so to like, okay, but why did this white person win? And if she won over legitimate reasons, which sounds like she did, then cool, awesome, great. I mean, isn't that at the end of the day the true definition of diversity and equality? When you, like you were saying, you don't look at race, you don't look at the color of your skin. It's simply by the person who has the qualification, merit. Yes, exactly, 100%. And I think that's what's happening. Is like this person just happened to be the one. I mean, again, 6 judges who are black voted for this woman, And here's an interesting thing, Mork, that I also want to bring up. Here's some interesting trivia for you, Mork. So, Rima, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it, of Kenyan heritage, won Miss England, while Indian Dr. Basha won in 2019. Okay. Pamela Uba, born in South Africa to Nigerian parents, won Miss Ireland in 2021. According to Ireland's 22 census, 1.5% of the country's population is black. And obviously, when the roles were reversed...
then it's, oh my good Lord, it's totally fine when it's reversed. It's totally fine, but when it's the other way around, when it's like when this happens in Zimbabwe, it's outcry. It's absolute. The judges must be racist. They probably hate their own people. They're all just Uncle Toms and Auntie Toms that voted for this woman. They're paid by big white monopoly capital. That's who funded that thing. Malema was right. No, but that's the ridiculousness of it. This is what people don't know. The knee-jerk reaction is like, you're going, okay, cool, yeah. But at the same time, once you think about it, going like, don't you want to live in a society where race shouldn't matter? Like, how long are we going to still hold on to? And this is probably going to get triggering for people to get triggered by this stuff. But how long are we going to hold on to the fact that, we're a sort of, call it a disadvantaged population, or like, the fact that certain things happened to certain races a long time ago? At what point do you go, okay, cool, like fresh start now, or like going until everything's even? Nothing will ever be even. The history of the world, nothing has been even. It's never been an equal system. It will never be an equal system. That's just the truth of the matter. And it's like, it's really one of those hard things to hear. It's like, it's never going to be equal. It's just the unfortunate thing.
I'll go one step further, Morg. What about those that like claim, like we got a lot of South Africans who will say, the land is mine, go away, you European or whatever, go back to America, whatever the case. And, they say that your heritage, like when they speak to white people, your heritage is not, you can't call claim to this soil in South Africa because your great ancestors came from Europe, for example. And here's the thing, though. Even the blacks that are in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, in Botswana, or wherever in the southern part of Africa came from the north of Africa.
Exactly.
They didn't just exist here. And that's also very controversial and you're not allowed to say, but it's the truth.
Yeah, that is the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Every single person, I think, to some extent, whether they live in the States, Europe, Africa, you can trace them back and probably see that they didn't come or originate from the current place that they were born in.
Yeah.
I
mean, I think I'm originally, Dutch, but originally Scottish. That's where back my vibe goes. And it's like I don't have a Scots vibe in me, but that's where my family traces back to.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool, yeah. That's rad. But it's like the thing. Everybody is.
You got to play the bagpipes now.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing, and it's also this weird thing about it. It's like the fact is she is Zimbabwean. That's the thing. There's a difference between race and nationality. It was not Miss Black Zimbabwe. It was Miss Zimbabwe. Being Zimbabwe isn't in race. It's a nationality. That's why a lot of times you get the intersectional people on, especially the very far extreme leftist, EFF kinds going you're not African. Yes, motherfucker, I am. I am South African. I was born here. That's my nationality. Being African is not a race. Being black is a race. Being white is a race. Being African is you were born there. It's a continent. I just they meld the two, and it's I am a South African. I was born here. If you're born in this country, that's where you're from. That's your nationality. It's just weird that they, I don't know.
I'm American. I was born in America.
Born in America, exactly.
I might live in South Africa, but I was born in America.
But you've become both. You've become a South African because you're born there, but you're also South African. You've adopted the culture, the lifestyle of this country. You live
I got the nationality from my mom because she's South African. Yeah. Well, she's partly South African, and I got the nationality through descent through her. We applied for it, and the South African government said, "Sure." You're officially. I got the ID, I got the passport, everything. I've got both American.
So you're African. You're a South African now. That is your nationality.
Technically, I'm African American.
Yes, you're basically African American. Yeah. Good. You should apply for you should do a BE vibe because you're mixed race and you're oppressed. I think you're oppressed, Joe.
Very much so.
Honestly, just getting upset about it, okay, cool, so what? But I mean, what is the argument? Are they claiming it's racism, or what is the issue? What are they upset? It's
no, they're just upset because a white woman has won some.
But I mean that by
you saw the comments that they
said. but by definition that makes you judging someone based on their skin color is by definition racism. It's it's weird. It's weird that people would. And that's another thing. It's weird people would say that out loud these days. It's
it goes again to your point where society has kind of brainwashed certain individuals, I think. And maybe not society. Yeah. Maybe society isn't the right word, but something in our world has caused us to think a certain way. Again, my knee-jerk reaction was, why is a white woman, how did she win? And thinking about it again, I'm like, wait a second, what is wrong? When I saw in that article that information about other blacks winning in a predominantly white country,
you would there's no issue with it. You're going, that's cool, exactly.
So why am I now upset that a Zimbabwean who happens to be white? I shouldn't be upset about that. And then I got over it. I was like, man, if she won fair and square, then that's cool. That's awesome. Again, I think there were prettier blacks in the competition, but I don't know why they didn't make it.
Exactly.
And the fact that I somehow, it almost like scared me because like I went there, you know what I mean? And I'm not a wogie. We know this.
No, of course.
And so it's like, what in society has made some people just rage out of just the notion
But
that,
actually,
like, you know?
yeah, it's very interesting, because what you're basically pointing out is you're pointing out that there is that, and I think this is what we touched on this with our previous EFF video. Link in the description. Check it out. But we kind of touched on that, like why there's this what do you call it? A societal, maybe it's cultural, maybe it's either society or it's cultural, where it's okay to hate on, for example, like the white European race. About 40 years ago, it was fine for, in the state of apartheid, to do that, thinking of, for white people to say that out loud about black people. But it's like the roles have just reversed. It's the same thing. But culturally, that had to be done by something. The fact that you have that knee-jerk reaction when it's like, it's actually what has conditioned you to think like that. Is it media? Is it the news? Is it entertainment? Because something has gotten you to think that way, where you're going, oh wait, that's wrong. You're going, wait, now hold on. When you had to actually take a double think and think about it. But the same thing happened to me. I'm going, shit. Saw the article and I'm going, wait, Zimbabwe. It's like, shouldn't it be? And you're going like, wait, no, hold on. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't factor in. Race shouldn't matter.
Maybe it's seeing articles like these, maybe it's because, I mean, essentially all these articles, what they're doing is they're quoting people on Twitter or X, as it's currently known. That's all they're doing, is they're quoting people on social media who are outraging. This doesn't necessarily mean that the world feels like this. It's just a few individuals on social media, but because we're seeing it on, big corporate media websites, we're thinking, oh wow, okay, so the whole world maybe feels this way. And I think that's what's kind of happened with a few things in our world, where the media helps to promote certain narratives, so that the general public just feels like they just read a headline and then they think, oh well, this must be true.
Yeah. No, because I mean, I was thinking about it the other day, and like, you're going like, if the media is pushing a sort of, like, it's fine, let's hate on white people. They do push that, but it's not just. It started with the media. It started with these, people saying these kind of random things. Yet these, far left people saying it. But I think that has become very mainstream. I mean, I had a conversation with someone that's studying film like a while back, and she was explaining to me that she's studying film, and her entire curriculum is based on that woke ideology. They've got to do the film about Afrocentric, decolonizing whiteness. I mean, you're studying film, not literature, not like it's like, how is that part of your curriculum? And that's just part of it. That's UCT. That's every single film has got to do with, it's got to bring in colonialism, decolonization, thinking of blackness, you're destroying whiteness. These things have gone from it just being said to it's fully integrated into our society. I mean, go look at articles. It's completely fine for someone to write an article going like 10 ways to stop being like thinking white or something like that. Imagine saying it out loud the opposite way. Imagine saying, 10 ways to stop being black. It's retarded. It's insane. And the media, like you said, I think the media is aggregating it. They are pushing this narrative, and it's completely warped. It makes me think of Nazi Germany, but also makes me think of like, the old South Africa, like, where they push this one-sided narrative, and eventually, like it comes to a point where people go, okay, this is enough. This is wrong. What's it going to do? So like, history keeps repeating itself. Are we going to go like, hate the whites, until there's some kind of thing where they try and like the EFF come out and they try and massacre people, and people go, oh wait, hold on, all the stuff we've been doing actually has led up to this, and now we should stop, now let's fix it, now we'll do reverse BEE again, and then we'll just do the same thing, and then all the like the whites are in power and blacks are oppressed again. Are we just going to repeat this white-black cycle for the rest of history? Like, can't we just have a society or culture where like, race is not a thing?
You know what's very interesting, Mark, is I used to live in Egypt for a while, right?
Yeah.
Now in Egypt, also the population of white and black is very small.
Yeah.
In Egypt, it's mainly Egyptians, brown skin.
Yeah. Wait, but hold on. According to Jada Pinkett Smith, that Arab people are actually black people.
Okay, I don't know if that's going to make my point worse or not, but
No, just saying, like, nobody in the Arab countries actually view themselves as black people.
No, they
who live
don't.
in Eastern Europe.
That's why there was outcry when they made Cleopatra on Netflix
Exactly.
black. Like
Exactly.
they banned,
Everybody's going,
banned
I'm
it.
Egyptian. I'm not black. No, you are. Like,
They banned the series. Oh my word! Or they had a petition to ban it. At least I don't know if they did ban it. But so the point I was trying to make is like, because you were saying like, when is the white, when is the back and forth going to stop? You know?
Yeah.
And in when that happens, here's something interesting. I'm gonna preface it by saying this. I think humans like conflict. Now, hear me out. When there is no race, okay, like in Egypt, right? The majority are Egyptian, okay, like a lot, okay. Maybe now not so much. Maybe there are more Europeans and whatever, but there's still a predominantly amount of Egyptians. And what I noticed is when you don't have a race problem, because like the Egyptians aren't racist. I wouldn't say that they necessarily hate the blacks or whites or anything like that. But there is a fight between Muslim and Christianity.
Yes.
So religion can be an issue if race isn't an issue, is the point I'm trying to make.
Very true.
Yeah. So that's why I say maybe humans are just destined to be in a constant conflict. Now, maybe it's not. Maybe it's also a media thing. You know, maybe
I think it's a combination of them all.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think that what needs to happen is, and this is like almost impossible, you need some kind of authority or government or whatever it is. That it doesn't necessarily have to be a government per se. Like you can make it a king or queen or whatever. I don't care. So there's something in control of this country that has real non-racial, non-biased laws. And we do see in some countries that exists. But again, like, funny enough, the countries where that exists, there's a majority, like an outright majority of either white or whatever it is that country is made out of. It's that race or nationality or whatever you want to call it, that predominantly exist in that country. And because they're all the same, they kind of get along. So it's interesting. I don't know. I'm thinking of countries like Sweden, for example. You know, like you don't hear like race wars in Sweden. You don't hear religion wars in Sweden.
No,
you know. So stuff like, but again, the majority of people in Sweden are
they're white.
And Swedish, like it's
but that's the thing. It's the nationality is the thing. And where do you see issues now? Like if you're looking at, like, you know, if you're looking at countries like Sweden, Finland, even in England, where you see is where you've got a complete, and I don't think it's got to do with race. I think it's a cultural thing, because it's like
probably
you've got Swedish now. Now you're importing, because this is one thing, they're importing a lot of, you know, immigrants from, you know, from Northern Africa, from everywhere, coming into the country. Mostly are young men. I don't see a lot of women and kids, but you've got a different culture coming into this, you know, living off this thing. Whereas like before, you lived in a country where it's like it's dog eat dog. It's like if you don't fight to eat, you're gonna go hungry that night. Now you're in a country where everything is free, everything is provided for the government, but everybody in this country has this understanding that, you know, you're working toward. I've spoken to people from, you know, these lovely first world countries with this lovely sort of social welfare system where everybody's happy and everybody gets paid. And now you've got a population that hasn't, you know, people coming in that's saying, oh, it's free shit. Like they don't understand that. Like they don't have that education level. And the two cultures they don't work. They don't gel. Like you can't have think of South Africa. I mean, well, not South Africa, like especially that.
England. It's happening in England. England is exactly what's happening.
You've got people that were like, from Syria. They were fighting wars a month ago or like a year ago. Now they're in a country where there's nothing. Like they don't mind killing you for money or for your car or the thing you have. That's just unfortunately the truth of it. It's rough. And those I think it's like having two complete different cultures. And that's the thing about America. It's got the ideal of it, And I think like at one stage, South Africa had that same thing where it was, the rainbow nation. And that's like kind of a bullshit term. But when you say that, I think of like when Nelson Mandela was president,
Yeah.
Not that I agree with everything he did. Like here's him in his later years. Maybe he's transformed. I don't know. But that whole concept, like when we won the World Cup, Nelson Mandela, everybody, there was no, I mean, this is coming. This is like 5 years after apartheid ended.
Yeah.
And there wasn't like the media wasn't pushing like the race narrative 24/7. It was about, building a better country, doing all these things, yada, yada. Ended up being a big fat lie from the ANC. But the idea was like, it was a nice idea. It's like the American thing, like the American dream, like
Yeah.
each to his own. You could do whatever you want to. You can succeed in this country. And it's like, I think that, that could work.
You still can in America, not in South Africa.
But I mean, yeah, not in South Africa. But also at the same time, it's like when you mention the media, it's like it's almost like what I noticed with X these days, where it's like they've included monetization. Now you've got people just saying silly things just for monetization, like asking every single post as a question, right? But that's the same thing with the media. News media is dying, right? We know this.
Yeah.
So what can they do to stay relevant? Like the same thing Julius Malema does. I mean, if you had to eliminate race, if the South Africa was 99% black, why would Julius Malema do speeches? What would he be able to do speeches on? Nothing, because his entire spiel is race-based, the white man, that guy. Now you've eliminated. Now there's no white people left. Now what is Julius going to moan about? Like you said, it's probably going to become religion. It's going, oh, well, the Roman Catholics and the Protestants, we're black Christians or something. I don't know, but they'll make it something.
Apparently, Julius is Jewish.
No.
That's what he said. I'll try and find the clip for you. I swear, in a speech, he said that he's a Jew.
So he's like, but I think he's just claiming that because he wants to be triple oppressed, because he's black, he's EFF, and also wants to be Jewish. So it's like he can claim like the whole Holocaust vibes, and like he's been through, his ancestors have been through slavery and the German, Holocaust vibes. Like, Julius is Jew. Bullshit.
And I'll never forget it. He was in a speech and he said, I'm a Jew, but that's a conversation for another day or something like that. Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
I'm just repeating what he said, dude. Like
maybe, but can't he just maybe he just identifies as being Jewish?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. But then he can't talk about the white monopoly capital because, So what you're saying is that Julius Malema owns the media.
God. I don't know. Maybe it was just flavor of the month. Maybe this month he's Buddhist. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I really like, one of my biggest wishes would be that like the whole race thing could stop. I don't understand how, like thinking back, like how was it so there was so less racism, 20 years ago, closer to apartheid. The further away we move from like when we actually had like full blown apartheid, the more racist it becomes. Like it's just weird. It's almost like maybe it's not true.
I do think that I'll speak from what I've seen in South Africa, right? Like when I moved here to South Africa, I didn't have racism was never a thing for me. Never experienced. I've experienced bullying for other reasons. I wouldn't say racist. People were racist towards me. I just think they just didn't like Americans. But it wasn't necessarily the color of my skin that they were bullying me for. More my nationality. But besides that, like I had never experienced someone hating me because of the color of my skin, right? I can sympathize with those who have been through that because I was hated on for being American, which is a characteristic of me, solely because I'm American. No other reason, which is similar to hating someone because of the color of the skin, no other reason. But having said that, when I came to South Africa, I noticed, especially in the later years, as 2010, 2011, going on to maybe 2016, racism, it's like in the air, in a sense of like the media pushes it hard here. Like, I think the media, as much as maybe they try and look genuine, when there's anything to do with race, they push it extremely hard. And I think personally, a part of it is narrative, but majority of it is money. The more clicks they get, the more their advertisers are being seen, blah, blah. I mean, that's why, like, after lockdown in South Africa, anytime the EFF so much as farts, the media's on it, you know?
Yeah.
Because especially if it's got anything to do with race, then they're on it like white on rice. They're like, we got to capitalize on this issue because we want the clicks. And they do the same with GBV. They do the same with, not really farm murders. They don't pay any attention to that. But anything else that's like controversial or deemed controversial, they will try and like bank on, basically. And I think a byproduct of their desire to milk the racism has caused a very divided country, unfortunately. Yeah. However, I will say this, even though I just said that, I think the country can be divided, but I think overall South Africans see past the BS. I really do. At least the middle class. Yeah. The middle class see past the BS. I can't speak on the poor. Unfortunately, I know that they are struggling in South Africa and they've got their own issues in South Africa. I would say that a lot of them do believe the rhetoric that the ANC puts out. But at the end of the day, I also think that a lot of the poor in South Africa just want to put a meal on their table and don't really care about racism and all that stuff. But anyway, I'm digressing. The point I'm trying to make is that I think in South Africa, there is a great mix of politicians spreading that racism rhetoric, media, and some of it is culture. Not a lot, like a sprinkle.
Yeah, I would say I would completely agree with you. It's like I think the politicians do it for power. They do it for votes because it's easy. You divide a population, and that's how you get And the media does it purely because of money. Because go look at I think it was News 24. When you go look at anything that's got to do with race, it's just retweets. It's just like it's insane.
Engagement
people
is so
the
high.
Views of it. Exactly. That means people click on their page, they get money. So what do? They push race-based thing. I mean, every single issue. But it's weird though. It's only one-way racism though, eh?
Oh yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very, very good point.
It's only one-way racism. Yeah. The other one, like when it's
if it's white on black, huge outrage. If it's black on white, not so much.
Nothing. No. It's like, but again, it's also the weird thing is it's also how the media labels it. For example, if a white guy had a rob a black guy, we go racist white man robs black man. If a black guy robs a white man, it's just like robbery.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like the other way. It's always like this guy is evil. He's got racist feelings, and it's just
look at what happened to that bar in Cape Town. That was like the most recent racist thing that happened, right? Which actually turned out to be complete bogus. Yeah. The SHR, the Human Rights Commission or whatever, deemed the incident wasn't racist. Nothing racial happened. I don't know the full story. There's allegations that it was a whole plan thing or a misunderstanding or I don't know what. And apparently the white guy was part of EFF, not part of EFF back in the day. I don't know. It's like a whole convoluted story, but at the end of the day, nothing racist happened at that bar. But you know what's really sad is that bar is going to struggle to come back from the onslaught that the media did on that bar.
Because I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's a one-sided. Like no one cares about the apology. No one goes like, "Oh, you got it wrong." You know, like that's the thing. It's like it's almost the same with like the whole vibe of accusing someone of rape. You know, it's like, okay, oh, it was a false accusation. We're gonna print the apology, like front page, rape, or like this thing, racism, this happens, apology. 7 months later, right at the end, small little, text. You can't even read it. Didn't even know it happened. And that's the thing. It's
Someone should do like a Netflix documentary on the bar story.
I mean, I
like a Netflix style documentary.
Yeah.
Like I would do that. I would get like a camera crew and I'd investigate and I'd be like, okay, what the flip happened? Let's have this conversation. And that's just the thing. Like, you know what also is missing in today's world, Mark, is getting to the truth. And that is where the media, they built up their reputation on these institutions that always got to the truth. We cut through the BS. Yeah. We don't take sides. We don't take narratives or whatever. We don't try and put goggles on you before we present something to you so that you see it in a certain way. We give you the facts. We investigate. We tell you what we found out. And then it's up to you to decide what is true or not. And in some cases, we actually do find out the truth. And you can agree, you can disagree. But according to the evidence that we've found, boom. And that's very rare now. There are still some news agencies that do it, but it's very rare.
But I mean, like that. The thing is, the reason that they don't do that anymore is because it doesn't make as much money. I mean, there's this recent. I remember if you watched Making a Murderer, like back in the day, right? Great thing. So, like, I recently discovered that Candace Owens did a video, like a documentary, going convicting a murderer, where Netflix actually took that thing. Mean, they made millions of dollars out of this thing. So many subscribers joined because of this. They completely left out stuff to push a specific narrative. And you're going like, okay, so it's just everywhere. Everything is about money. Everything's money driven. It's about monetization, So the problem is,
but to be fair, I mean, the Daily Wire doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I contemplated subscribing to the Daily Wire just to watch the rest of the.
I watched the first episode. I was going, well, maybe just for 1 month. Because
I was also like, just 1 month, man.
But it's like you're showing that the opposite. We're going like, there is substance in truth. Like going, why don't you go after the truth? Why do you have to make it one-sided? Because it's like you have these marketing people sitting on these things going, okay, well, if you go this way, I mean, I wish Disney would do that. I mean, have better Star Wars or something. Just having better people.
But that's got nothing to do with truth, man. That's just
I know.
Ideology.
No, but it's about appealing to an audience. That's what it is. Everything is it's like that's the thing is what is even true anymore? Like I think like getting back to the race thing, it cannot be worse. Living in like society today, living in South Africa today, but it cannot be worse than living like racism cannot be worse than living like during apartheid or right after apartheid. It can't be. But the narrative is the way the media is going on. It's like, when some lady comes out and says like, oh, these people, something, and like, oh, that's racism. It's like mainstream news all day long. You've got people coming out on the other side going, I want to murder every single white person is going, nothing, just nothing. It's like, what a weird system to live in. Like, I mean, how do these journalists sleep at night? Like, I mean, you hypocritical ass master. I mean, like,
I also
how can you write an article just going like just knowing this and going? It's like, is it your ideology? Like, what do you believe that you don't think there's this? It's lopsided. It's weird.
But also, Mark, there's a level of complacency from white people in South Africa. You've got, I think there's 3 different kinds of white people in South Africa. You've got the Afrikaner, actually 4. So you got 2 different types of Afrikaner. You got liberal Afrikaner, and then, like, for lack of a better term, like Afrikaner, like, like old school Afrikaner. Okay. Then you've got and these are all like white people, but like they're just 4 different types. So then you've got English. So you've got the English whites, and they're also split up into 2: conservatives and liberals. And the 4 of those are complacent. The majority of them are complacent in what the media puts out.
Sorry, to your point, it's like this is something that's it's like a cultural vibe of the Afrikaans people. Is like they're not very open about, not open, but they're not very forward. They're very like personal. They're very private with
Yes.
their opinions and feelings. and
Some
stuff.
aren't. I mean,
No,
Steve
some aren't.
Hofmeyr isn't.
but
Ernst
like-
Rutz isn't. But I mean, some wokey now is like going to be like, oh, you're talking about like the old right. No, I'm not. Some Afrikaners are very vocal about certain things, and they are vehemently not racist. But what I mean by complacent is I don't feel or see that enough white people stand up to the BS racism rhetoric that the ANC and the media puts out. It's almost like the majority of whites just go like, oh, okay, we're racist. I'm sorry. What can I do to make South Africa a better place? I'm trying so hard. I donate every day to the gift of the givers, and I go to the townships and I have soup kitchens and all that stuff, but my fellow white just keep on ruining my image. I don't know what to do. I'm so sorry. Like that's what I feel like some of these white people do. I'm not saying that all white people should now take out some tires from their BMWs and go and riot in the streets. But I'm just saying that I don't feel that there's I know that the whites in South Africa are a minority, but I'm just saying that these minorities are not that vocal. Like look at how it's not right, because a lot of the times when the media cries racism, it's not true. Sometimes it is, though. Sometimes it is. And look how the Africans, South Africans, they're angry, man. They outrage hard. White people, not so much. And maybe
again,
it's got to do with the laws. I don't know.
But again, is it real? Because I mean, for example, like take a hypothetical, like going the EFF. Like, I mean, look at that big stadium thing they did where, Julius was saying the only way he got people to come there is to promote it with days before, promising everybody they were going to slaughter how many cows? 120 cows they slaughtered to give them free food, right? The whole vibe of like the ANC giving people, every time there's a rally, like they bus people too specific. They go up and go, yes, you're going to get a Checkers packet or whatever, like here's a shopping basket, like a bag of groceries, and all you have to do is just come rock up. We're going to pay you $50. In South Africa, it's so easy. I mean, like it's so easy to get people to do stuff when you've got the black hole of the taxpayer fund, which the ANC can dip into, and the EFF is get like same kind of thing. Like slaughtering a bunch of cows, giving people a free meal, and you're getting media publicity for days on end, because all you have to do is just sing the song, and the next few days you got Elon Musk tweeting you out. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, I must admit there was a little bit better outrage on that because it got international attention. But for the most part, every time there's something that happens here in South Africa, very few people will talk about it. I mean, I'll talk about it. Ronaldo House or Sigle or whoever will talk about it. Yeah. But mainstream media does what it does, and no apologies are given. Wokies jump on it and they just start spewing that rhetoric out without knowing all the facts. And when a restaurant gets deemed innocent, where are the wokies and their apologies? Yeah. Nowhere. But the worst white that I think are the ones that agree, the wokies, basically the far left wokies that agree with the racist rhetoric. I think are the worst, and I don't know, man. I just think that South Africa is very divided in the sense of culture, and I don't think South Africans are divided in the sense of like everybody wants to earn a good living, everybody wants to provide, everybody wants to just live their lives, right? I'm not saying all South Africans are racist. It's not all I'm saying. South Africans are, I've always said this, are amazing and beautiful people. I really do believe that. But I just think that South Africa is so divided with the amount of ethnic groups that we have, with the amount of cultures that we have, and all that stuff, that it's just anytime the media can almost like throw a bone,
Put the two,
then it's just.
yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to
Because
say?
it's so easy to put the two together, because it's like, especially the white-black race issue, it's so easy to put them. And that's why do you think the ANC and the EFF use that? That's their biggest voting ticket, is that black-white thing, going, that is your problem, and it's easy because we can see it. We can see it. Those people are white, they have the stuff you have, and vote for us because we're going to fix this. Yeah, 29 years later, they haven't done shit about it. But anyway,
30 years later, even worse.
yeah, no, that at the same time, and then you're getting back to like sort of this concept of this being upset about a chick because she doesn't fit the demographic. It's like, we should take a step back and think about it. And this is the thing that sort of like the woke people don't understand. That like their ideology has ingrained them so much that they're being racist yet not knowing it. It's going like, no, but it's for diversity. I'm going, yeah, but that's racism. It's like, no. What we'll do is we'll change the meaning of what racism means, and now it's not. Now we're not racist. Like BE isn't racist. Like, yes, it is. You're discriminating people based on their race. No. But it's to fix things. It's like, yeah, it's still racism. Like, where do you fix things? Like, you can't rape people for good. Like, you can't steal from people for good. It's just like it's weird. It's the world is upside down.
Stealing from people for good, though, you would claim to be Robin Hood then.
Well, I mean, no. Robin Hood didn't steal from people.
He stole from the rich and gave to the poor.
No, he stole from the government and gave it back to the people.
It's still stealing.
Well, I mean, he's stealing from people who. It's like the robber comes to you and he steals your lightsaber, right?
Would he go to jail if the government pressed charges?
No, but hold on quickly. So you by analogy, right? So I'm a robber, right? I'll dress like a robber, put my Bible on, and I rock up at your house, and you don't see me. I break through your window and I steal your lightsaber, right? And on the way out, in the road, you take like a tire iron or something and you throw it at me, and I fall, and you steal the lightsaber back. Is it theft when you take it back? What has been stolen from you? Exactly.
Sorry. Yes. Because
That's not.
the
You
act.
stole it.
No, but the act. I didn't steal it. I bought it.
Yeah, but I mean, I stole it from you. Now you're stealing it back from yourself for yourself. Like, 'cause it's
Yeah,
my
but
possession.
okay. But usually, this is a very good. Look, the act that you did to break into my house to take something that didn't belong to you, is theft. Ergo, even if I get it back, you still attempted to steal it. The act was still made. It doesn't just because I got it back doesn't mean now the act is like, oh well, and I mean, like, listen, if that really did happen, I'm gonna tell you straight, I'm gonna press charges because I would be able to, even though you got it back. But
I'll
that's the
claim
thing.
that,
See, the cops wouldn't be like, yeah, but Joe, you got it back, man. So the crime is non-existent. That's not how it works.
I'd press charges against. I would press charges against you because you stolen it from me. Now I had it,
but it was originally mine.
But yes, but exactly that's the sort of philosophy with Robin Hood. So Robin Hood, the government was stealing money from the people, like excessively. They were taxing them so much that people were busy dying, and so Robin Hood decided he's going to steal that money that's being stolen from the people. He's going to take it back and give it because he considered that the government was stealing from the people. So the initial act is the same as you going. It's like your argument is basically, I'm stealing from you. But you're stealing from me.
I'm not. Yes, but I'm saying that. Yeah. Okay, so Robin Hood felt that the government was stealing from him, right? So he was stealing from the people. So he was going to steal it back. Okay, fine, fair enough. Yeah. That's all good and well. I mean, I think you and I both can agree with that notion even today. But would any of us go and steal from the government right now and give it back to the people? No, because we'd get arrested. I'm just saying that the act is still wrong.
Yeah.
Like
no, of course. By the law, by the legal definition, made up by the government.
Yeah. Well, to protect themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, I would consider taxation being theft. You know,
Yeah.
like I mean, just because you call it something else, and like that's the same thing with like it's like if the this weird thing. So I'll show you something. I saw this weird clip the other day on now over the weekend. I saw this clip on X of this girl who's just gotten a SASA payment, and these two guys, or this one girl and the guy, are busy beating up, taking her SASA money, right? And I was going like, wow, that's horrible. And then I thought to myself, but hold on a second, like it can't actually be a crime because the money is stolen by the government from us. You know, if you think about the fact that they can steal money, therefore it's not theft when the government does it, and they can take that money and give that away to people, and then those people who are now taking it from other people, it's a crime. It's going like, well, hold on. So when the government steals, it's fine, but when people do it, it's just this weird watching that thing.
It's only because
they're fighting over stolen money.
It's only because the government is stealing it legally, which is an oxymoron to say.
Exactly.
But let's conclude very quickly. This was a very interesting conversation, by the way. I think we delved into a lot here. But I mean, like, it all leads back to, because again, like we touched on, well, some of you might think that it went weird, but no. I mean, again, the media is blowing up what is perceived to be as a racist kind of event now because a white woman won Zimbabwe. It's not. She won fair and square. She was judged by the majority of black judges. They, for whatever reason, looked at the criterias and decided, hey, she's got the most points. She deserves to win. And I applaud that. I think that's great. I wish her the best of luck, man. I really do. I don't think she'll win the whole universe pageant. I mean, I'm not trying to knock her. Again, maybe she would. I don't know. If she does, awesome.
No, I don't think she'd win Miss Universe, almost, because she's not transgender. But I mean, again, wait. So to your point, I completely agree with you. But the funny part is the thing is, like, you know, having this conversation is like, it's the inverse. It's like the people who are outraged going, well, that's racism. No, the fact that they're outraged because someone won, and they're outraged because the person who won wasn't the race they wanted to be, which ironically is being racist. Thinking that, which is the world is inverse. It's upside down world, dude.
It is. And yet when, you know, a black person wins in a predominantly white country, not a problem, you know. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed this conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think the outrage was unnecessary? Do you believe it was necessary? Let us know. It'd be interesting to know your thoughts. And let us know if there's any other topics you guys would like us to look at pretty soon. Keep an eye out on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We will be having that hate speech conversation. Does it exist? We're going to be talking to a lawyer / philosopher. Yeah. He's not really an official philosopher, but he does talk a lot of philosophy. But he is a lawyer, and you guys, some of you may have heard of him. Mark Oppenheimer will be joining us. We've just got to, record. But he will be joining us soon, so please keep an eye on our channel. It's going to be a very, very interesting and riveting conversation. Other than that, Mark, anything you want to say?
No. Oh, remember to follow both myself and Joe have our own channel. So go drop in there if you want to check out content. I see Joe's been putting out some awesome content.
There's some good stuff from you too, yeah.
No, I haven't done anything new. I've been working on something for like 2 weeks, and I'm going to so angry at it, but it's coming soon. But yeah, go check out our other content, our main channels. Go see what that's about. Go look. If you love the stuff you're seeing here, you're going to love that stuff probably a bit more.
Yeah.
Or less. I don't know.
And share this far and wide. Tell your friends.
Please share.
Tell everybody we've grown nicely. I mean, we haven't grown crazy, but we've grown nicely. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thank you for listening. If you're watching on YouTube or any other of our places like Rumble and etc., thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, stay based.
Bye.